Okay, in this video, I am going to show you techniques that I did using the Design Memory Craft watercolor pencils. On this one, I just did some doodles and just enhanced the doodles with the watercolor pencils on the outside. That's the blue stuff there. I'm going to show you a couple different examples of things that I've done. This one, I've changed the edging and kind of aged it with a different color than regular aging colors, and then colored in and changed the little flags a little bit. On this one, I actually did some spray on the inside, but then did watercolors along the whole edge of the heart to just kind of make it flow out. I changed the edges of the paper here, and again, I changed the colors of the little flags and stuff there. And then I did some other clouds too. Just extending the pattern paper up into the regular paper by adding some of that same color that you saw with the watercolor pencils. And also just changing the colors of the pattern paper by adding just that little extra bit of watercolor paper or watercolor pencil. Putting borders and things like that on envelopes and pages and things like that. So I'm going to show you right away which ones I'm using. It's these Design Memory Craft ones. They come in sets by color. This is the blue set. And you get all of these different colors, including a metallic silver, and each one of them comes with a little paintbrush also. They're really easy to use. This one is the yellow and oranges. There's greens, and then there's red and purple. They're really, really easy to use. I love them. They on here, they're water-soluble leads, and they turn into rich watercolor pigments. They're permanent, and they're waterproof. So they're perfect for any kind of scrapbooking or card making or anything like that you're doing, and perfect for coloring things in. So I did a couple examples. This is one where I've changed the pattern paper. I've added some doodles to the pattern paper and just added a little bit of extra color and technique stuff with that different, with the watercolor pencil. So mine are a little dull because I've been using them quite a bit. So I always start with the color where I want it to be dark, or you know what, you can start with your lighter color and kind of move in. This one I'm going to use two different colors, and you want to color the heaviest or put the most amount of color where you want it the darkest, and lighter out at the edges. Get enough water on your paintbrush. Sometimes you want it a lot of water, sometimes you want just a little. I start in the lightest part and go in, because as you can see, it's kind of moving the color backwards, and you can see that really thick, almost chalky edge, and I want that to be towards the back, or where I want it to be the darkest. So I'm kind of moving it along so that I get it to right at that edge where I want it to be. And you can see that's where like most of the color ends up, most of the pigment ends up there. All of it dissolves. There's nothing left. It's not chalky at all. It absorbs really nicely, and you can move it around. You can come back with more water later and kind of play around with it to extend it out as far as you want. And just kind of play with it and change the look and feel of your paper. You can change the look and feel by also on the edges. I did the same thing here with this red paper. This is one that I sprayed on earlier. And I just wanted to change it a little bit and make it red on the edges to just emphasize the red. So as I put the most amount of color at the back end. But then if I do the watercolor and start from, I gotta turn this, I'm sorry. If I start here and push inwards, go in, all of that really heavy pigment and color ends up at the heaviest at the back. You don't always need to add a lot. You can add just a little bit and move it around with your water. You can easily dilute them. It's really great. And you can also always go back in and add things in later. This one I was just coloring in the letters. You can also mix two different colors. I'm going to put a little bit heavier on the bottom, and let's put blue on the top. And then blend them in the center. I love to just play with, oops, it's got red on my brush still. I love to just play with the colors and see what's going to happen. Mesh it all together. They're really easy to use. I really like these watercolor pencils. And there you have that. So I think they're really fun to use, really great to enhance doodles and extra little die cuts, add your own personal touches, age the corners, fill in things. You can fill in doodles and things on your pattern papers or stamped images. So I would suggest checking them out. They're really great and easy to use.